Speaking of women, we have Amelia who's been waiting for a long time in South Africa, so I think we should bring her on, huh?
Absolutely, that's cool.
Yeah.
What time is it over there?
Hi.
Amelia. Oh, there you are.
Hello.
Nice.
Hey.
It's 4 o'clock here in
Oh,
South
boy.
Africa.
Were you waiting all this time? Oh.
Yeah, I've been listening and I just dozed off, but I'm here.
You woke up. Well, I had her on Radio 314. If people didn't hear that show, definitely go listen. It's good to get updates in South Africa, and it would be great if you could actually film some things, kind of report on some things and send it our way so we can keep an eye on what's going on in South Africa, too.
Yes, I'll see what I can do if something flares up again on the campus here. I'll see if I can sneak up there and maybe get some video footage for you. But what I was also thinking is maybe I can write some articles for you on health and maybe the paleo diet, and what you can do to reach optimal health and preserve your genes.
That's so important.
Yeah.
Health is a good message. I'm a huge supporter, of the paleo diet, organic. I think to getting clean bodies will give us clean minds and make us stronger on the battlefield. Justin knows about that, right? Right?
Well, it's free. Like, keep it coming, yeah.
Oh, man.
You
Amelia,
guys burning books or what?
Amelia, I wanted to hear more.
Always.
What more can you say about South Africa? We hear about, white genocide there all the time. I mean, what's it like for you on a daily basis, just when you're out and about? What are you seeing? How are you encountering?
Oh my God. I think things are just getting worse. There's actually a real possibility that Julius Malema, the guy from the EFF that I spoke about in my interview, there's a really good chance that he can be the next president. And he's already saying things like he's going to take away all the wealth from the white people. So I've actually started making plans to get out of the country. And I just want to add that your listeners, the red-eyed listeners, are the most wonderful people in the world. I've received messages from people from America, people from Europe and Australia, and some of these messages left me in tears because it was, the kindest words.
Yeah.
And in contrast to that, some of my own friends unfriended me, without any question. So I received messages from people from Ecuador saying, hey, come to Ecuador, and start a new life here. And I'm actually looking into maybe relocating there before the next elections, because I don't think we stand a chance.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
And I don't
Good idea to get out of there. And if you need sponsors, I'd be happy to help sponsor you if you wanted to come over to America. We need more of that stuff for our brothers and sisters there in South Africa, good Afrikaner people. We really need people that are willing to sponsor them, get them out, employ them, fight for them to have refugee status. I mean, that's some things that we need to be doing, right? I mean, it would be a shame to lose Afrikaner people from the face of the earth, wouldn't it?
Of course.
That's a lovely culture.
Amelia, can I ask, are they making it, I was told that they make it very difficult for you guys to leave, right? Is that true? Like they make it almost virtually impossible to get out of there? I mean, the people they left in the 90s and now it's like harder, right? Or is that untrue?
Yeah, of course, because our economy is really down the drain. So, to afford $1 or to afford €1, you already have to be quite wealthy. And then because, all of the government, agencies are ANC government run, everyone who works there is really, incapable. So they take months and months and months with paperwork. So, if I decide tomorrow that I'm leaving, it will take me, minimum of a year, to get out. So, and, I met a woman the other day. They are all now moving. They're emigrating to Canada. They are selling their farm. This has been a farm that's been in their family for generations, and they're just selling it to get out of the country because they literally fear for their lives. And I do too.
Yeah, of course you do. Absolutely, and you should. How would things change if Lema gets in? Do you think?
Well, I think we are then on the highway to end up where Zimbabwe is. Like, they will literally throw white people off the farms. They will literally take lands away from white people. And it's happened before. There was a mango farm in the north of South Africa that produced export mangoes. and this farm was given to blacks, and they cut down each and every mango tree to make firewood. There was another case, a chicken farm, where the government gave something like 5 million rand for this black guy to run a chicken farm. And, they got to the chicken farm the other day, and like 5,000 chickens were dying. They had no water, they had no food. So, I mean, this was a farm belonging to a white farmer. It's been taken away, and then, the black farmers don't have any skills, so, the farmers just go to waste. Or, they use the funds that's given to them for their own personal enrichment.
Oh, unbelievable.
Kaffir lives matter.
What was that, Justin?
Kaffir lives matter.
Yeah.
Chicken lives matter.
Oh, my word.
Mango lives matter.
To speak on the immigration out of South Africa issue, I think a major part of it is that a lot of Western countries, whether it's in Europe or North America, Canada, US, they just don't allow it to claim residency. They don't
allow Syrians, though, and other people, though. They'll allow all these other guys who can't assimilate, not their own people. It's incredible. I mean,
like I said in my interview, I applied to a couple of websites, for immigration. I applied to Ireland and Scotland, and I looked into Iceland. And I heard nothing back from these people. And I'm guessing it's because I'm white and because I'm South African. Because there's no white genocide in South Africa, right? Well, there's no 85,000 farmers who've been brutally murdered.
Yeah.
Well, this is the scariest part, I think, of it. It's just the lack of recognition from media and other international organizations. I mean, literally, every time you bring up, they laugh in your face.
Yeah,
like you're utterly crazy for even talking about this.
And they would do that here, too. Well, Amelia,
it's already
you
happening.
should just go to Mexico and, smuggle yourself in with all the Mexicans and then just wait for amnesty, I mean, I tell Henrik, God, what is it, a couple $1,000 by the time you pay everything, and you have to wait, and you have to go back and forth to Sweden and everything when we wanted to come here, and all these other, millions of Mexicans, non-whites basically, are going to come in and just get amnesty.
Well, what the hell? Well, that's the idea that many Americans are tired of the fact that it's illegal immigration, right? I mean, it's just like all of a sudden these rules don't apply, the rules don't matter. Well, would it be the same for me? Of course not.
Of course not.
Right. It's an open discrimination based on what is their take? Skin color only, I guess, or whatever.
It is.
So it's retarded.
It's like they don't want those laws, but when it comes time to enforcing hate speech, we want those laws, right?
Yep.
You're a racist or a homophobe, we're going to put you in jail. There's laws, right?
Yeah.
Well, Amelia, can I ask you a question again? Is the diversity equals white genocide meme popular in South Africa at all? Or no?
No.
That's weird. It's popular here in Europe and America, but I would expect there it's super popular, but it's not even popular because it would really work there because you're like at level 7 or what is it? How many levels are there?
Yeah, I think we're level 5 of 8 levels and level 6.
So it's not even there. That's incredible. I can't believe
No,
that.
it is there. It is there.
Well, I'm saying that
there's definitely, no, if you do, you are racist. And you are extreme. So I think that's why some of my friends, and I mean, these are people that are my friends, we used to hang out together, they just simply unfriended me because I'm not allowed to say, my people are being murdered. Yeah, exactly. White friends.
Well, let's just
surely they know you're a good person.
Let's examine that a little bit.
You
and see
don't know me.
What is it? Is it the power of the programming, if you will, of what the media has done and everything that is causing people to disengage with you in such a manner where they can give up years of friendship or in some cases even family? How is that even possible? What is it with the accusation that is so toxic to these people?
It's the moral
high ground. Yes, and I think it's about the racist God. If you are saying that, that blacks are so, brutal to just murder whites, that's being racist. And I think also remember much of the, the statistics of the crimes against white people are covered up in the media. So, I think, your average Joe, your average white person doesn't even know how many white farmers have been killed because the media doesn't announce it. So, you know, if I go out and say, why genocide, you know, this 8-year-old girl, like a month ago, an 8-year-old girl was raped, gang raped, and then beaten to death with a shovel.
God.
And
Wow.
I'm sorry, if you say that on Facebook, you know, you'll be unfriended because, I don't know, no one wants to know about it. No one wants to know about it.
How can we blame these super Semites for that?
Well,
like, how can we blame?
There's a sickness.
You know what I mean?
There's a sickness.
Yeah, there's something with our
people.
people. There's something wrong with us. Like, yeah, they're pushing it, but how can you blame some Jewish guy in Israel or whatever, Tel Aviv or even New York or any programmer when our people are like so detached from their own death? I mean, Giorgio from Golden Dawn, he wrote an article about this, how, you know, he talked about a Swedish reporter saying like, yeah, well, this diversity is getting people, well, you know, we got to deal with it. I mean, you know, they like making excuses and being totally so like this whole altruism gene that our race apparently has shuts off totally in a way to the most vicious coldness you've ever seen when it comes to, I guess a threat to their own life, I guess a political suicide or, you know, some kind of character assassination. They like shut it down for their own people. It's incredible. And he was telling me this, and I was like, wow, man, you're right about it. Because how could it be some South Africans unfriend you for saying the truth like that? I mean, I don't understand. That's what I'm saying. I can't blame these super Semite people when we're the ones doing it. If you had a gun to your head, maybe.
Well, I mean, I guess that would depend on, you know, what angle you have. I guess some would argue that it's the changing of the moral framework through entertainment, through news media, right? That somehow it's not an active engagement of it, but it's obviously like a moral framework that has been constructed, which no longer includes us, you know, being able to take care of our own interests, basically, right? So there is a partial blame on us, and it's a partial blame on the manipulators, if you will.
Yeah, like Kevin McDonald gets into that. He gets into that with that pathological altruism, where whites you construct a moral code, and then we will make sure we police ourselves to make sure we get that. Oh yeah, I'm the best of that. You know, I'm the best anti-white or the best diversity person ever.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Within the Western moral code, the Boer, the Afrikaner, has for a long time been popularly constructed as an enemy. Long before like the modern concepts that we have of cultural Marxism and stuff. Like, I mean, as an Englishman, I have the guilt associated. I'm supposed to feel guilt about a whole number of things, but personally, I feel a great deal of guilt about the fact that we rounded up the Boer and we put them in concentration camps, and we drove them off their lands, and we treated the Afrikaner like animals, and that was, you know, back in the, over 100 years ago. And the Afrikaner has always been in Western dialogue being like kind of like denigrated and you know, put down. There's never been a time I'm aware of in Western history when the Afrikaner is recognized as a legitimate and ethnicity with a right to self-determination.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely right.
Well, it comes down to we have to break the cycle. You know, people like us and the children that we're going to have and our grandchildren, we have to program them differently, because the fact is we're going to lose a lot of these lefties. They're going to breed themselves out. Things are going to happen. There's a great culling that's happening right now. And in one way, I just let it come. Let the cleanse come, because I look around and I see what white people have become, and it's very pitiful. And you know what? If you're not smart enough to see what's going on, then okay. Then you're not going to make it to the next level. But people like us and our genes will. And maybe that'll be a good thing in the end, right? Maybe that's going to be a blessing in disguise later.
But let's see if there's something we should... if there's something we need to kind of include in the conversation about both strategy and both tactics and next level stuff in any regard, I guess we can just kind of... ask one of the guys one at a time. Is Amelia still with us, by the way?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're there. Okay, good. Yeah. Is there? What else do you think? Is there something you want to tell our audience in terms of your situation, or any other way that people, you know, can help you, or what else would you like us to know?
Well, I think if you want to help the South Africans, you should contact probably Karen Smith. As for me, I'm looking into really relocating maybe to Ecuador and starting a community there. Because I think what counts for me right now is my physical survival. So if that means that I have to remove myself from my country and, go and live in another country where it's safer for me, where I can, have a family, have children, and then maybe, in the future when my country is safe, if that's, possible, then maybe move back, or then maybe relocate to Europe when everything is over. But I think what we should really look into, and I think Lana also feels this way, is to start communities, get back to traditional way of living, get back to nature. And for me, it seems that it's possible to do that in Ecuador. So I'm, doing everything I can now to start making, steps to get there. It freaks me out, and I'm so scared because it means that I have to uproot, and I have to sell everything that I have. I have to leave everything that I know and I love behind. But for me, I need to survive, and I don't know how I'm going to survive in South Africa. And if there's anyone out there listening, I think maybe, if you're from South Africa, or if you're in a country where you are being oppressed as a white person, get the hell out if you can and move, even if you have to move with other people, move and start a community, just survive.
Amelia,
so
we know
I'm not asked.
Sorry, I was just going to say, we have several listeners down there, so maybe I should connect you with some other like-minded people there in South Africa.
Yeah, I've connected with some of them. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't even know there were any other Red Eyes listeners in South Africa, so that was amazing.
Well, very good. What else should we go through? Is there anything else we need to address?
You're fading out, aren't you, Henry?
Well,